In September 1999, Interfet forces were sent to East Timor to restore peace and security following the people's vote for independence from Indonesia. It marked the first time international forces had intervened to stop Indonesian aggression against the East Timorese since the Portuguese left in 1975. The Australian Navy sent their elite team of clearance divers whose main task was to ensure the harbour and beaches were safe. The divers are a unique branch of the Navy. They're small, tight-knit units that must maintain peak fitness levels. A certain amount of mystique surrounds them in the armed forces.
Welcome to Clearance Diving Headquarters DILI. This is our lovely abode, the outdoor entertainment area with our improvised gym. I'm Lieutenant Sean Griffiths. I'm 32 years old and I've been with Clearance Diving Team 1 for 2 years and in the Navy for 10. I had a scuba diving ticket, but that really isn't the reason for my change. My reason was for the personnel and to work with, I guess, some of the best people in the Navy.
37! Get the 40, mate, come on, get the 40.
Well, this is the recreational area. Sometimes we eat dinner here. Most of the work gets done. Obviously the computers. The temperatures in here get up to about 40 degrees, and one of our first acquisitions was the fans, and you'll see them right throughout. This is one of the sleeping quarters, and it's very hot inside there. But the mozzie domes have provided us with some relief from the mosquitoes which carry the malaria and dengue fever bugs. Okay, we have accommodation for 4 more of the guys here, and the last room in the house is the equipment room. The guys' equipment's all packed and ready to go, and this will be locked and secured tomorrow when we depart for the task.
The task will take them to Butano, a remote bay due south of Dili. In 1942, the Australian warship Voyager ran aground there while landing commandos to fight the Japanese. She was attacked by a Japanese bomber, which was shot down, but since further bombing raids were inevitable, it was decided to abandon ship and detonate demolition charges. 58 years later, not much is left of the destroyer. However, some of her explosives have remained intact.
Okay, men, we'll just go through the departure brief, just leave questions till last. So our task is to remove and dispose all of the explosive ordnance, which includes 21-inch torpedoes, 10 Mark 7 depth charges and various projectiles. Victuals for the period over there, we'll have sandwich packs which we'll pick up tomorrow. For breakfast we should be able to get breakfast cereals, eggs and bread. Fresh food for probably 2 meals.
Welcome to Cafe Butano. This morning on the menu we have soggy rain-soaked Nutri-Grain and warm milk. Yeah.
The remainder of the week will be on ration packs.
Salmon mornay.
With pasta.
Duty watch will need pickets throughout the nights between 2100 and 500. For the emergency telephone, we'll have a sat phone on site.
You having any difficulties breathing?
For the intel at this stage, the threat is still low. Timing 0500 will be wakey wakey, and from there on will be pack personal equipment and secure the HQ. Chief Petty Officer Mark Skelton. Everyone calls me Red. I've been in the Navy now for 23 years. I'm 40 years old, and I've been a diver for 16. I do enjoy it. Some people don't. Obviously, being one of the bosses, it can be hard at times because sometimes they don't like what you actually want them to do. But that's life in the military, and someone has to sort of call the shots. So, yeah.
We've had 4 or 5 good tasks while we've been here, but it's not involved the whole team. This is the first time that we've actually closed down the HQ and sent 8 personnel away. And everyone's looking forward to it because we've had a pretty quiet period for the last 2 weeks.
And our transportation over to the AO will be an M26 Russian helicopter.
My name's Able Seaman Ed Sterinskis. I've been a clearance diver for 2 years and I'm 27 years of age. Left school, did a degree in marketing, use that a lot. 2 years of working in business was enough for me to realise that that's what I didn't want to do, and joined the Navy basically as a diver.
I'm Able Seaman Michael Barnes. People call me Jimmy. I'm 22 years old. I've been in the Navy for 6 years and I've been a diver for 2.5 years. I think the main reason why I joined the Navy, I had a lot of influence from my family and that, because I've got a lot of family members that have been in the Navy, and I've always been interested in travel.
Justin Callard, leading seaman clearance diver. I'm 30 years old and I've been in the diving branch now 9 years. Spent 5 or 6 years on destroyers down the boiler rooms and engine rooms, and wasn't enjoying that too much, so saw what the divers got up to and thought that's me.
Able seaman clearance diver Philip Shirley, 30 years old, been a clearance diver for just over 3 years. I joined up when I was 16, so before I joined there wasn't much, just farm boy. Just the jobs they did appeal to me, plenty of fitness and things like that. So not really a job you can turn down.
I'm a leading seaman Glenn Fozzard, 30 years old, joined the Navy 1992, and I've been a Navy diver for 5 years. The reason for doing it was the excitement of the job, because you get to handle explosives, you're always diving, going to exotic places, and just it's always changing too. You're not just, I know, stuck in an office day in, day out. I'll just give everyone a heads up on the way we're going to run the camp here and how it's set up. With toilet amenities, it's just a primitive shovel, go down, dig your own hole, cover it up. Blokes who have their weapons, sleep with them. Everyone's got their own 20-litre jerry. It's got your name on it, use your own.
My name's Able Seaman Craig Bowring. I've been a diver for just on 2 years now. I'm 21 years of age. As you would have heard around the camp and that, everyone calls me Jake. I think it's got something to do with being a Kiwi. Yeah, it's been fun, bit of an adventure for a couple of years. So, yeah, we get to blow shit up all the time.
The program, we're going to go in this afternoon, and the Chief and myself are going to have a dive, have a look at the wreck. We're also going to identify the ordnance and mark it, and then maybe go out and identify a demolition site.
The wreck runs parallel to the beach this way. There's 10 depth charges just here. Plays 2, 6 and 2. They're all uncovered but not by much. So they'll take some digging out. The torpedoes further down the beach that way, and so are the rest of the projectiles.
Yeah, this is unbelievable. It's part of the engine room. And these are parts of the boiler and main engines. And behind this, still underwater and intact, is big brass ends of a condenser.
Alright, up you get! Yup! Come on, mate. Up you get. Smile for the man. Righto, fellas. Today we're going to conduct task 1, which is broken up into 2 phases. Phase 1 is the airlift, then the lift and shift of the 5 depth charges, or 5 of the 10 depth charges. Then phase 2 will be the demolitions of those 5 depth charges. The village chief has told us there's crocodiles in the area. They live up that river, so just be aware of those. Right, what we're going to do now, we're going to pass the airlift to Ed He's going to begin on the furthest 2 depth charges. We're going to see how we go with the airlift. It'll just be suck and see, literally actually.
The airlift is an underwater vacuum. Once sand is sucked away from around the depth charges, a lift bag can be attached to them. The bag is filled with air, and when it rises to the surface, it picks up the charges with it.
How good was that? We've actually picked up both depth charges.
Offload. And then we've got a obvious marker.
We're just going to tow it now out to our demolition area, sink it, and then we'll wait till we get another 3 before we put the fire on and explode the whole 5 together.
The divers are aiming for the blast window this afternoon. An hour has been set aside each day when they have permission to conduct the demolitions. During this hour window, all shipping and aircraft must stay out of the area. The explosives that will be used to blow up the depth charges are also prepared.
We're just going to make up 5 charges with 5 sticks of PE in each charge. Each one's going to have a 3-metre detonation cord tail. So we have to sensitise it 1 stick out of each 5 with the detonation cord, and make up the 5 charges, put them in sandbags, and then after that we'll make the firing train up.
Yeah, HQ, this is Dive. The weather's really closing in, and visibility's going to fade right out on it. Over.
Divo, this is HQ, roger your last. We'll shoot for the morning window tomorrow. At this stage, the demolition charges are prepped. We haven't done anything with the firing train, so we'll do that tomorrow. Work it. Fine china.
This morning we're up to phase 2 of task 1, which is the demolition of 6 Mark 7 depth charges.
The all-important firing train has been made up. This initiates the explosion. It's attached to the mainline detonation cord at the demolition site. When the pin is pulled from this igniter, it lights the dual safety fuse, which burns down to the detonators. These are tightly crimped onto the end of the fuse to stop water getting into them.
So it's, watch your backs, crimping det.
The divers have 5 minutes from when the pin is pulled to detonation.
So we roll it all up, place it in its protective housing, ready to go.
We'll transit to the dem site, get to the dem site.
HQ, this is dive boat, say again.
Put the diver in the water. Give him the charges. You'll go down the float, mate. Sort yourself out. Righto, happy fellas? Yeah. Play surface. Righto, what we're going to have is the main line coming down from the surface, sandbagged in 3 positions. 1, 2, 3. Then you've got the 6 charges there, depth charges. That's how they're arranged on the bottom. On top of those, we're going to have the 5 sticks of PE, the charges we've made up. Then we'll be connecting in to the main line via the red cord tails.
How'd you go, matey? All done?
Yeah. Just straighten it all out.
Then myself and the chief will go down, check the shot. Once we're happy, we'll get back inboard, get a heads up from the range safety officer, which is the LT. He'll be liaising with the 2 sentries.
Their jobs are to make sure that no one gets in the water. If a person was in the water, due to the air spaces in the body, in the intestine and in the ears, lungs, etc., the shock wave can be so fierce, up to about 4 kilometres for this particular explosion, that if they are close enough, they can have internal bleeding, ruptured ears. So we'll make sure that no one gets into the water. Also too, that there are no boats in the close vicinity.
Securite, securite, securite. All ships, all ships, all ships. This is Australian Clearance Diving Team 1. Intend conducting underwater demolitions in position. 9 degrees.
Good to go.
We've got a boat coming in. We've got three of them.
Yeah, this is a dive boat. Our intentions at present are to go out and stop the 3 approaching boats, send them out to a safe distance, come back and put fire on. Over.
HQ, what's the word for explosion?
Explosive.
Explosion? Bomba nakfera.
Bomba nakfera. Bomba nakfera. Yata sar na bane. Amane mi tingi se susne ba. Sala sira bomba ko nahi mi.
Happy with that, mate?
Keep down in there.
Go! Go! These 2 blokes as well. Red, you want to...
He picked up power.
Good. Good on you, mate. Thank you.
Thanks, boys.
How you say thank you, Jimmy? Obrigado. Hey? Obrigado. Obrigado.
We get permission to put fire on, over.
Approved. Once you put fire on, move out to the position where you were to make sure those 2 fishing vessels are clear. Yeah, just back up there.
Once we got permission to put fire on, we'll get the attendant in the water, which is Jimmy. Yeah. You'll swim out, connect the debts in, place fire on, make sure the safety fuse is burning.
What range do you have those boats at now, over?
So about 700, 800 over.
Yeah, roger that. They just seem to be getting closer to you.
Yeah, affirmative, we're going to put fire on, head straight to them and send them on their way, over.
Roger that.
Fire on!
HQ, this is dive boat, we have fire on, over.
HQ, roger.
That way! LT, ask the interpreter what the words are to hurry up, and you tell me, not him, over.
What are the words to hurry up?
La lice.
La lice.
We'll stay a bit.
Oh! Hey, no!
Hey, it's okay now.
That was great.
Obviously the depth charge is detonated because PE wouldn't have made a plume like that, wouldn't have even come over the surface. And you can see the cordite on the surface from the actual depth charges.
Hey, he's all right. Yeah! Put him back, Rex. We've got some lunch.
Yeah.
You don't have to eat red packs anymore.
Poor little fish.
Towards the end there, we had a bit of drama with the locals, which made us put fire on a bit late, but in the end, we made it by 2 minutes 45 seconds inside our hour window, which was good. 1 casualty, which was the fish, and we've handed that over to the locals. But all round, starting from yesterday morning till now, excellent job. Keep up the good work, and we've got a lot more to do. Thanks, boys.
Well, be snappy.
Shirls is in charge of Task 2, the demolition of the remaining depth charges. The boys spend the afternoon preparing for tomorrow's blast, and they get a resupply from the Australian Navy landing craft Tarokan, which is going past. They're given fresh food, ice and water, and the divers can now look forward to a barbecue.
We've got a few lamb chops off Tarokan, and whipped up a special sauce, jacket potatoes, and some fresh veg.
Look at that.
You blokes done a fantastic job.
Yeah, thank you very much. Once again.
Thanks, Chabos.
Oh, how they looking, mate? Those spuds are perfect. It's eating time.
Yeah. What about manners?
Oh, knock you dead. I reckon, Ed, give him a shake. Yeah, get the lazy bastards out of the rack. Hands off their wangs.
Wakey, wakey, wakey!
Right.
Smash it down dry.
Morning.
These buggers used up all the milk.
Shaving in the middle of the bush. Ever seen anything like it?
The divers are aiming for an earlier demolition this morning to avoid problems with the fishermen coming in with their catch. It's also a special day for Shirls.
Happy birthday, Diver Shirls.
See that?
Happy birthday to you.
No hands.
No.
Someone want to go back into the camp? Yeah, I will. And also to have a check of that bow.
Never trust a spark plug.
I've just got a few problems with our spark plugs. Just clean them up and see if we can get it a rock and roll.
The delay could cost them their blast window. The people of Butano Bay are remarkably happy and helpful considering their 24 years of oppression. Only a few months had passed since militia had been here, destroying buildings and killing 7 people. The village chief had a message for the divers.
Because my people are illiterate, they didn't know about the bombs until they heard the explosion. That is when they realised there were still bombs on the shipwreck. They are now happy and grateful because this thing that could have killed people has now been destroyed. They say thank you.
The divers are away, but they have to work quickly to make the morning blast window and avoid the fishermen.
In the water. Our sit trip, Foz is just about finished. He'll be up in approximately 2 mics, and then Shills and myself will go down to check the shop.
Tastes like shit. Where is it, mate?
Yeah, let it go. Yeah, she's good to go, mate.
That's spot on. As usual, Foz work is faultless.
Connect it up.
Dive boat, this is HQ. Put fire on, over.
Fire on, Ed.
Fire on!
Roger, fire on. HQ, this dive boat, we have fire on. Getting surface swimmer inboard. Moving out to our safe distance, over.
Hey, come on! Dive boat, this is HQ, Roger, fire on. Can you give us a countdown?
Anyone get the time?
HQ, Roger.
Yeah, drive back up.
This is HQ, roger, observed detonation. Good job, guys.
When the Voyager ran aground, the troops were helped by the locals. These village elders were teenagers.
I saw it. The ship came in at night, at around 6 p.m. After they unloaded, they were ready to leave, but the boat couldn't go. There was no bombing, but in the morning, the planes arrived to drop the bombs.
When the bombing raids started, they fled to the mountains. This is the first time they've heard how the ship ran aground and why it was abandoned. Justin is in charge of the next task, the torpedo demolition. They've run into another mechanical problem, this time with the Bowser air compressor.
Well, first of all, the bows stopped on us. I think it's due to overwork. And we're going to pull the back off that and have a look.
We got 3 diving sets.
We might be able to finish the torpedo job.
It's been a day of mechanical failures, but diving successes. Obviously the shaft from the engine's turning, but for its compressor drive side, it's not turning because the keyways maybe come out.
He's trying to say is he doesn't know, so he's just pulling names out of his ass.
Use the gas turbine, not these things.
I reckon it's broken anyway, man. If it's not, it will be by the time we're finished with it.
There's the seal for it.
The few remaining tanks of air will have to last them for the next 2 demolition jobs.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
I'd just like to thank everyone for taking time out today to remind me that I'm an old fart. Go get stuffed.
God bless the Tarakan crew that gave us the resup for the prawns. Love you guys.
This is the first time I've had a beer all trip. Crikey, it's only 3 months.
Well,
what is it? Hey, how good's that?
The divers are preparing for an afternoon blast. They've discovered a number of small explosives are fused to the wreck and can't be moved. They'll have to blow these in situ. They also need to move the torpedo to the demolition site for tomorrow's blast. The divers attach the bag to the torpedo, holding their breaths while the air in the remaining tanks is used to fill the lift bag. The torpedo is lifted and towed to the demolition site.
Yeah, it's good. Bit of power between your legs for a change.
The bag is deflated, lowering the torpedo to the bottom. At the wreck, some more ordnance have been found.
This is a VT fuse, variable time fuse. You look closely at